Hello students, we are going to take an overview of a chapter 1 which we have already studied earlier, so it will help you to understand better, and in further we are going to have test, so we'll prepare for test also. So just go with this an overview for chapter 1 economics and introduction. So we have started with introduction. If you remember, it is in the prehistorical time. You find that humans were also there, and they try to have different problems, different complexities, differences among them. So what they try to do, they have done that. They have been fighting, they have been entering into the battle, the armies are there, the kings are to be having the battles, and they try to sort out the problems. Then after, however, you find that many after the civilization has developed or there is a progress, you find that they started solving this particular problems logically by different formulas, by formulating different principles based on philosophy and science. So their differences and complexities were being solved by this particular philosophy and science, and you find that that is called as what, economics. So some principles which are based on philosophy, some principles based on science, both together, mixed together, and form a we can say that is economics, which is helping to understand the human behavior and solving their problems. Then comes the meaning of economics in Indian thought. In Sanskrit word, it was Arthastra. Earth means purpose or goal, where total, we can say, Arthastra means the science of benefit or purpose of practical life in Sanskrit with the Indian thought. When it comes to the English one, you find that English word economics is being derived from the Greek word, that is two words of, that is economos. Ekios means household and nomos means management. Altogether we can say it is a management of household. So how one person try to manage his own household with his own behavior and all that management work is comes, and it's known as what, economics in the English term. Whereas a purpose for practical life means the Arthastra, which is there in Indian thought about the economics. Then comes your, we can say, economics in Indian thought. So we have studied that it shows the various aspects of life. So it provides the way of life, how to live a life. So there are four purposes of human life. You find that is dharma, earth, kama, moksha, which we have there. So these are the four main purpose of life, where earth is a main purpose, that is earth derives purpose, benefit, and wealth. So this particular earth is subject to the matter of economics. So then comes with all the things which are been which we are doing, and that gives certain benefits to it or certain wealth to it, that is called as what, economic activity. So from these four goals, we can say wealth is one of the living and means for living and material pleasure. So wealth is which gives a human being to live further and further and try to attain the materialistics means all the different types of things which you are having, that particular pleasure. Then, as we can see in our Indian history, you find that Kautilya, 2500 years ago, Kautilya Chanakya, which is also known as Chanakya. So he has written the book. In his book Arthastra, he has been given economic activity, and the definition says that human being's intention is earth. You find that anything which he acquires, like piece of land for settlement, that is also earth, that is wealth. Then the science for explaining this particular theories or usage of this wealth creation is also known as earth. So all these things together becomes economics. So anything which is related with acquiring something, with benefiting something yourself, with try to what your intention for living, so that particular thing comes under the economics, which Kautilya explains in his book Arthasastra. Then comes the definitions which are coming from the West. So they tell it is a science. So what type of science they are telling? Like in the directly introduction, we have studied that it is based on certain principles of philosophy and science. So here first person, that is Aristotle, when he has understood with you, he has came up with his book Oikonomika, where he find that after industrial revolution which have came up, you find that the labor started coming up, there is a specialized changes happening up, and you find that study of this specializations or changes in human behavior is called as economic, and he tell it is an independent science. Then comes Adam Smith in 1776. He wrote the book, that is, the title name is An Enquiry of Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nation. So according to him, he says that it is a study of nature and causes of wealth of nation. So economics means it is how a people or how an individual or human try to acquire the wealth. So his focus is more on wealth, and he says it is a social science because he studies human effort on the one side, and second side he has been using the methods which are scientific. So both of this together, it becomes like a social science. That's why he called as the study of wealth is a social science in his book An Inquiry into Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nation. Then comes the third person, that is in 1980, Alfred Marshall written a book. He published a book, Principles of Economics, and he find that he states that it is a study of mankind. He is telling it is a study of human welfare in his ordinary business of life. So ordinary business of life means a person how he try to acquire his earning, bread, butter, everything from his doing of, that is might be business, might be labor work, might be some intellectual work. So different works how he's been doing so that he can attain his daily living money, and that material consumption he can purchase. That is called as what we can say economics in the terms of Alfred Marshall, where he focuses more on well-being. Human well-being should be there, means satisfaction for human should be there more rather than keeping focus on wealth. Whereas Adam Smith was focusing on wealth and Alfred Marshall was having a focus more on human satisfaction, that is human welfare or human well-being. Then comes the fourth person, that is Lionel Robbins, who has given a scarcity definition. Now in scarcity definition we can say, in his book in 1931, Nature and Significance of Economics, he says same like the first one, that is Adam Smith definition. It has been a little bit the same title. In his definition he says about that it is a study of human behavior with relation with the ends and the scare means which alternative uses. So he is telling that human wants are limited, that is ends means wants are unlimited, means resources are limited. So you find that we have to use it alternative, because every now and there your wants are coming up, and that is again reoccurring, or we can say keeps on occurring again and again. So that particular time you find that this resources must be used that very alternatively, so that in future also you can consume and now also you can consume. So with the limited resources, how you can try to satisfy your wants, that particular science, that study of science is called as what we can say economics. So he says it is a positive science, it is not a negative side. So he says here it deals with the problem of allocation and scarce resources where human satisfaction is maximum. So what we try to do, we try to use limited resources, and from that limited resources we try to use it maximum, so that we can get maximum satisfaction. So that particular economics is being given by Lionel Robbins, which is a scarcity definition here. Then comes Paul Samuelson, the fifth economist. He has published his book, that is Foundation of Economic Analysis, and his definition was brief enough. So he's focused more on choice, allocation and scarce resources, where he find that in cost, how much cost and how much benefit of doing is been there. So here he talks about the people and the society with or without the use of money, so that they can use the resources which are there with them, so that it can help them to use alternatively also, as well as it not for now but also in the future consumption also, so that in the society this particular products are being used differently with the different people. It also analyzes with what cost and what benefit the resources allocation is being done and how it has been helpful. So ultimately he focuses on allocation, choice of resources, and the evaluation of cost and benefiting of doing that particular alternative usage. So all these things has been helping us to go with this human behavior thing, that is economics. So these are the five definitions where in the West the different economics has given up. So I hope you have been clear with all the five definitions of the economics which are been there. Then comes you find that economic activity and non-economic activity. So if you have economic activity means anything which is done for money. In simple sense, if you want to take, like if you are doing a job and you are getting a salary for payment, like for example I am doing a teaching job and I am getting salary for my payment, so that is an economic job. But suppose I am teaching my brother at home, so that is non-economic job. So here it is says, because I am not taking any fees, he is my brother and he is like we can say, so that particular thing comes in non-activity. Whereas here when we are spending money for to get something in, we are doing your work and you get some money in return, that is called as economic activity. So for benefiting, or we can say for economic benefit, when you are getting certain income involving exchange of goods or services, like you are purchasing anything with the help of money, all that things comes, that is called as economic activities. Like you are eating in the restaurant, so you have to pay your bills. You have eaten good delicious food and you have to pay bills. You have watch a movie in the theater, no matter it is like no product you are getting, but you have entertained for 3 hours in the theater. So all that particular thing comes under economic activity. We have also seen non-economic activity. Non-economic activity means where economic benefit or special purpose of obtaining economic gains are not there. It is just for the sake of, we can say, social welfare. So that particular thing comes under your, can say, non-economic activity. Like you find that you're going to your friend's birthday party, you're offering a tea to the guest, politicians giving speeches, all these things when you're playing football or cricket with your friends. So there does not comes any money thing. You just go with your own satisfaction or social service which you try to go with it. Then comes macro and microeconomics. So microeconomics deals with the individual units of economy. Like we have studied about the demand, chapter 3 demand. So what you find in chapter 3 demand, you find that we are talking about one product, taking one product and the price of that product. So one product price and the demand for it. So we are talking about only one thing in one particular thing. So that deepness when you study for one individual thing, that is called as what? Microeconomics. So it studies the rational behavior of an individual unit, and you find that how different principles are setting off with the individual unit. So price determination of the product, equilibrium output of the, we can say, firm, marginal productivity, wage determination means how much weight should be kept for the labors. All these things comes under microeconomics. Whereas macro means it is a study of all the different issues which are coming from the entire economic setup, or we can say it is a study of economy as a whole. So like we can say study of national income, we have to determine of poverty, how there is unemployment happening in the economy, what is the growth rate of the economy. All this determination of these different things which is at a larger scale, which is concludes all the units of the economy, or against all the units of the country. So that comes under macroeconomics, and you find that it help us to study this particular thing. So it has various things, it has all the things which is there, all the micro things coming some together, and will help us to study about this particular macroeconomics. So here it says the behavior of individual unit impacts on the macroeconomics. So one individual unit for one production firm, one product can make influence or changes in macroeconomics parameters. Same way macroeconomics parameter also impacts the decision of individual unit. Yes, if there is a country wise something problem is there, and because of that problem there are certain stoppage of business or production units are being stopped, so that particular comes under macroeconomics. If there is a depression time, that is you find, so many of the production units are being stopped, so that comes under macroeconomics. So this was about macro and microeconomics. Then we studied about how to present a data in economics. So there are three ways: descriptive manner, that is the written form, like you find in here the description of relation between the price and the commodity, where you find that when the price of a commodity falls, the demand expands, and vice versa happens. So that is a descriptive manner. Then by the way of table and by the way of graph, which we have been drawn in the demand also and this chapter also. So here price and demand has been taken up, and you find it has been drawn in a diagram form. So you find that x axis you find that is a demand, and y axis that is a price. Independent and dependent variable has been taken up. So here demand is an independent variable and price is a dependent variable, where you find the scale is everything is written. So this help us to study some of the cause and effect relation between the price and the demand of a particular product. So that help us to study the different economic concepts. So this is how you find it, by descriptive manner, by the help of table and by the help of graph. And lastly the conclusion which has been written here. So this help us to study the concept very easily in the economics. Then comes how to what is the importance of statistics or statistical information in economics, because economics based on different theories, and different theories are observed, and they are the analysis of different surveys and datas. So you find that statistical, first point says statistical information supports and confirm principle. Yes, so anything which information which is there, it is been related with some type of statistical data. So that has been collected, that has been presented, and with the help of statistical tool it has been identified, and then after the concepts of different economic theories are been understood with the help of statistics. So here we can say to test any theories in different in real life, we have to go with different place, different information, and applying different economic theories, so that we can help, so we can get the data, and that data has been converted into, with the help of statistical formula, it has been converted into the theories, and we can apply it. Then it gives the idea of changing trends. So many of the graphs have been there, it is for based on the time, and on the time period you find that we can find that for a longer period of time, like after independence, or we can say it was mostly of agricultural country in India, but you find at present situation you find more of service sector has been acquired in our India. So you find that there is a gradually decrease of share of agriculture, or falling of agriculture sector in national income. So that is can be observed. Then we can say production. So in agricultural production, how much production is there in 1951 and at present 2020. So all these things can be easily known with the help of these graphs. Then comes the sale revenue for different companies for over the period of time, how much sales has been done and how much sale has been increased. So all these things are been help us to understand. Then third point says to make comparative study. Yes, so we can compare with the data of 1951 and 2015 if we are having about anything like growth rate, literacy rate, different regions, different time periods across the nations or different countries can be compared. Then after we can make precise presentation. Yes, if you're having everything available, you can make like PPTs available for, you can make PPTs and you can start explaining about the different changes happening. So mostly the researchers and the economists try to go with this type of data, and they try to represent with the PPT. So they help to understand the different economic parameters, and helps to know the different parameters like we can say inflation, agriculture production, regional disparities. So this can be understand by any lay person. Also lay person, if you remember, that is those person who are not having any knowledge about this particular topic, those particular topic. So that those persons are called lay persons. Then comes what are the things which we have to keep while collecting statistical information. First thing, we have to go with source of data. So the data which we are having, that should be reliable and universally accepted. So you have to go with the some like World Development Report, which is an authorized authentic one. Then Economic Survey of India for India, we can say Central Statistical Organ, that is CSO. So different organizations have published different data, and their source of data are correct. So we have to go with authentic one, not the fraud or plagiarized. Then comes the clarity regarding dependent and independent variable. So you have to remember what is the cause and effect relationship, as we have studied in demand and we can say demand and price. So you find that here we can say we have to remember that which is an independent variable and which is a dependent variable. So here it has been taken upon the rainfall. So all the independent variables should be taken on the x-axis and dependent variable should be taken on y-axis. So here rainfall and agricultural production. So rainfall is an independent variable which represents on the x-axis, and agricultural production depends upon the rain. That's why it is a dependent variable and it is represented on the y-axis. So this is how it works. So we have to have a clear-cut picture upon this. Then comes the selecting appropriate scales. So we have whatever we are measuring on x and y axis with different meters. So there are 1 centimeter cap. So you have to write down how much units or how many years or what are the things which are been taken. So there we can say measurements are being written with very well, and we have to write what x and y represents, like x represent times y represents the production. So this is how it is been there. If many times there is the data is large, we have to compress it in a decimal point, like you have to write in lakhs, in crores, so that you get a 2 or 3 digit number very easily, which help you to plot on a graph. Then comes the next topic, that is presentation of numerical information. So how numerical informations are been present in the form of diagram and graph. So here talking about the different types of diagram which are there. So here we have learned 3 types of it, that is bar diagram, group diagram and pie diagram. So let's quickly go with this particular bar diagram. So bar diagram is represents the group data with a rectangular bars with length proportionate to the value. So here length shows the value of that particular data. So here years and productions have been taken. So years is an independent variable, production is an dependent variable, and you find it has been represented with the rectangular bars. So which is horizontal, which is vertical to the which is parallel to the, we can say, y-axis, and it is base is on upon x-axis. So this is how it has been drawn, and you have been drawing from 9th standard. Then comes the Group data. Now group diagram is also known as cluster bar diagram. Why? Because you find that on a one particular base there are three different types of bars which are drawn, or the categories are there. So you find that the independent variable does not have any group, but the dependent variable are having different segments or different categories. So it has been we can say it has been presented with a different bars. So here this is how you find that different bars represents the different regions or different male female ratio literacy rate in Gujarat. So this is how, when this type of dependent variable is having, we can say, categories, that time you have to use cluster bar diagram. So this help us to understand the male literacy rate, female literacy, and the total literacy rate in Gujarat with the help of this type of diagram. So this is how it has been drawn, and you have to go with. And here also you find that bar represents the literacy rate which is in the end percentage. So here years and literacy rate is been taken up. Then comes the pie diagram. Now what is a pie diagram? You find it is a circular chart, and a circle is come, it has 360 degree. So when 360 degree is been there, so you have to go with dividing all your items or sectors into this particular degrees. So you have to use the formula, you have to convert it with, you have to multiply the share. First you have to go with the total. So if the total here it is taken in percent, so total percent is 100. So what you have to do, like 13.9 into 360 degree divide by 100, you get the different degrees. So that degree you have to draw from here. So it represents that particular agriculture. Then comes the industry, you have to go with that degree, you have to draw it, so you have to get that particular part. And the remaining part, which is the service sector, which has a bigger portion of it. So you have to use degrees to represent in a circular manner, and that gives a data about the pie diagram. So you find it is a circular statistical graph which help us to divide the sectors, which help us to compare the different sectors, regions graph. So this help us to understand very easily that how much portion of a particular sectors or a national income is divided into different sector. It gives different income. So this is how it is been done. So these are the three different types of graph which have been commonly used, and you have to understand it is very easy. And then comes the importance, last topic, that is importance of economics. So how economics helps us? So there are, first one says it help us to help us to understand the everyday behavior of human being. Because human beings lives in a society, the behavior of human beings, society states are everyday changing, and you find that is helping you. Like you can say understanding international events. So human try to go with what are the things happening in international level will affect their own interests also. So in modern times, with the increase in formulation of available to public, the scope of economic everyday life is expanding. Like we can say, before a time you find that there was not much things available, like press was been there, but it is not that much active. But you find modern technology has been given the different things which are happening in everywhere in the corner of the world is been known very quickly with the help of technology. So modern times you find that everything which is happening up on different events will easily available to know in the here. Then after understanding the historical events talks about like what all things happen in the past. So what influence and what economic behavior was that time, that help us to understand, with the help of economics. So here the knowledge of economic helps to understand about the historical events like Indian revolt against the goods made in England during the British rule, labor movement, etc. Different things happened in history. So that time what was the scenario and everything also help us to understand in economics also. Then comes economic influence. So here decision making. So what individual they try to make decisions. Like we try to go with making like you find that people go with walking in the life of like household, lawyer, actor, singer. So when you play a different character role, you try to make different we can say roles, and apart from that different rational behaviors. Like suppose I am a teacher, so I make different decisions when I am teaching in the school. But same way when it comes to my family, I'm like an ordinary person, so that particular thing I go with the same different behavior there. So same way you find that your parents also, parents behavior at home is different, at work is different, with friends is different. So people with their professions, it has different behavior, with their ordinary life it has different behavior, with different people's different things. So they try to go with having different decision making, with their managing their time, as they try to use it optimally. Again, we can say here many of the people try to use their maximum time, like this actors and lawyers, they try to go with using their maximum time different places so that they can acquire more and more economic gains here. So second point is that also. Then after understanding government policies, yes, here many of the people try to go with repo rate, serious repo rate, tax policy, wages policies, or different policies which are made by states and RBI. This help us, the people, to take different steps in their life, so for regarding investment and saving. So this policies influence or makes changes in the behavior of individual for different investment and saving purposes. Then comes the last and the third topic, that is professional decision making. So you find that knowing the scientific principle theory, you find that people use different theories, different concepts, and in the business of life, and they try to go with doing day-to-day activity. Like I told you, like different people's here, actors, they try to use their time. So here also they try to make different theories, like a person can be a consumer, can be a producer, can be a, we can say, labor also. So once he is a different he's playing different roles, he makes different we can say different decision making, and in that decision making mostly they try to go with getting optimal benefit. Like we can say, if you are a producer, so you try to go focusing on more on profit making, so you try to go with increasing more your profit margin. When same way you are a businessman, but outside when you're going for purchasing anything, you become a consumer. So when you become a consumer, what will happen? You try to go with the things, so you get cheaper and get maximum satisfaction. So you try to go with bargaining with the different products at, we can say, so mostly like we find your mothers which are going out for taking vegetables, so they try to mostly go with bargaining things, where you find that the things for good for family, fruits and vegetables which are good for family, they try to acquire it with a very cheaper cost. So that is the human behavior they try to acquire. So producer will go with more focusing on we can say profit also, but same way you find that another side, it focus more on getting cheaper things. So this is how it has been helping up. So determination of, we can say, price, wage determination, employment of various product or productions, and so on, are the different things which are being known economically and professional life. But still we try to go with making decisions. If again one point also comes here, if it is a bit that suppose you are a producer also and a consumer also, many times you find that you try to understand how other producers are feeling, and you does not try to cheat other producers with the giving wrong things, or with the giving wrong malnutrition things to the society, because ultimately you are living in a society. So if you sell good bad things to the people, the society will reject you, and you find you will get the same thing. So you have to go with that particular role also. So that particular professional decision making is also done in economics. It helps, so economics help us to make different types of decision making here. I hope you have been very clear with this point. If you still find any doubt, any problem, you can just go with the messaging me or calling me, so we can have soon test for this particular topics. Go through it, all the points, and if you find difficulty, ask me. Thank you.